Good morning, viewers. Hello and welcome to the Morning News Show, where we bring you the latest headlines and insightful stories to kickstart your day. I'm Kuina Sharma and you are watching CNN News 18. First up, on top of this bulletin, we are starting with a disturbing story of an Air India crew member who was being attacked in her hotel room near London's Heathrow airport. Now, Air India cabin crew member has now complained of an assault at a London hotel. Air India has issued a statement and said that they are closely working with the London police and will take up the matter to full extent. So these are the horrifying details that we are tracking at this point of time from the international grounds, where this entire incident has raised serious concerns about crew safety and security measures in place. So these are the latest inputs that we are tracking at this point of time, where a report of harassment has come to fore from London, where Air India's employee has been harassed. Joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Akanksha. Very good morning, Akanksha. Very sad and gruesome details are coming to fore. What more do we know about this incident, and how was the intruder being able to get access to the Air India crew members' hotel room?
Good morning, Kohina, to you and our viewers. And this is a deeply disturbing incident. Let me inform our viewers that it occurred on Thursday night at Radisson Red Hotel at London's Heathrow. The crew member who was attacked was in fact in deep sleep, and at roughly around 1:30 a.m. the intruder attacked her room. She woke up extremely startled, screamed for help. Fortunately, her cries for help were heard. She was attacked with a clothes hanger by this intruder. He dragged her on the floor as she tried to escape towards the door, but her other crew members and her colleagues, in fact, to her and while the Air India crew member, the survivor, has been taken to a hospital and is now on her way back to Mumbai, where she will also be counselled. The matter, as we all know, is currently being pursued by the local police in London and the hotel management. But you know what is disturbing that has come to the forefront is such me out inadequate security at this particular Radisson hotel in London. It has dark corridors, it has an unmanned reception and a miscreant even knocking on the door. So now we are hearing sources are telling CNN News 18 via the other crew members and pilots who are complaining that, you know, we've already seen the kind of law and order prevail in London. It's in a very precarious situation, and why are crew members being asked to stay in such unsafe hotels? At the same time, we've already seen how what is the situation as far as law and order is concerned, including London. Everybody is needed already to be on high alert, going out alone at late night. Hotels with foolproof security systems must be selected for stay of crew members, given that we've seen what has happened after the Southport stabbing, the kind of protests that have turned into violent rioting all over London and the UK. And not to forget the level of racism and racist attacks that are increasing. Just a day ago, an 11-year-old Australian girl was also stabbed multiple times while visiting Leicester Square with her mother. So the situation remains extremely fragile and disturbing in terms of law and order in London and its surrounding areas.
Right, Akanksha, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. Well, joining us on the broadcast is our another colleague, Yash. A very good morning, Yash. What was the exact nature of the attack on the Air India Air Hostess, and where did the entire breach actually happen for the intruder to enter into the crew members' hotel?
You know, what we are understanding as of now, that person who attacked the Air India crew was a homeless person, and around 1:30 in the night, he was able to actually get into the hotel, and then in fact he reached to the hotel room of the person who has been actually made victim of this very heinous crime. But fortunately the crew members who were living right adjacent to the room of the victim here.
Right, Yash, I'll request you to stay with us on broadcast as Manish Tewar of Congress is joining us. Well, thanks for joining us on CNN News 18, Mr. Manish. Well, isn't it alarming that despite repeated incidents of attacks on airline crew members, the government has failed to implement robust security measures? What is the stance of your party on this, and what concrete steps will the Ministry of Civil Aviation need to take to address these serious concerns in your view?
Well, what has happened is extremely unfortunate, as it has been reported in the papers. It is reprehensible, to say the least. What is particularly disturbing is the fact that notwithstanding that the cabin crew members or the airline crew had repeatedly brought it to the notice of the management of Air India, which is now owned by the Tatas and is a private company, the Tata-owned Air India decided not to implement any measures in order to address the safety and security concerns of the cabin crew with regard to this particular hotel, especially when there were complaints that the corridors were inadequately lit. There was hardly any security at the hotel, and there were all kinds of allegedly suspicious people lurking in the hotel. So the airline is squarely responsible. The company which owns the airline is squarely responsible. And the government needs to take the airline to task. It needs to take the company which owns the airline to task.
Right.
To find out as to how this happened. And the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, which is the regulator, needs to take it very, very seriously. And if the security of the crew, cabin crew or flight crew, are at risk. Now, whether that is even a violation of the licensing terms under which the airline is allowed to operate, are issues which the Directorate General of Civil Aviation needs to look at very seriously.
Right, indeed, Mr. Tewari, but help us also understand, in your government's view or in your party's view, what will it take for the government to finally take concrete actions to ensure safety and security of not just crew members but women all across?
Well, this is not a partisan issue. It is not about A party or B party.
Right.
The security of women concerns us all. What happened in Calcutta or what happened earlier, or the repeated instances which unfortunately continue to happen across the length and breadth of this country. These are extremely serious non-partisan issues in which humanity at large is involved. And so therefore, government needs to double up and needs to get its act together. In this specific instance, there is a responsibility cast on the Directorate General of Civil Aviation to find out as to why the concerns of the cabin crew and the flight crew with regard to safety and security were not addressed.
Right, Mr. Tewari, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. Well, the government needs to double up and act accordingly is a word coming in from Manish Tewari, Congress MP. But